Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese number 638CH self-adhesive weather strip in charcoal finish made of silicone. This is a 25-foot roll available in 17, 19, 21, and 25-foot rolls. Reese, and 500-foot rolls. I was about to say Reese can accommodate a much longer roll length should you need it as well. If you've got several doors to do and can justify 500-foot roll, definitely order it that way. You'll save the cost of all the packaging, etc. Okay. Now, so we've got one package here cut open. This happens to be a 17-foot roll. We'll pull a piece, the end of it out. So this is the typical teardrop-shaped self-adhesive seal material. This is the unit that is marginally, this is the smaller in the range of the teardrop shapes, meaning it's 3/8 by 3/16 rather than half by quarter. A lot of people like this smaller profile. You might have a little bit more restricted area in which to work. It's also true that the smaller material generally runs a little bit less expensive, but the truth of the matter is it's not as common as the half by quarter, but it's still very common. Okay, very nice, durable sort of material. This is going to be made of silicone. It will have a high-quality adhesive covered up by a peel-away protective paper back that's here. Okay, smoke and draft control tested. Three-eighths, 3/16. Okay. In a charcoal finish, so that's just going to be a very dark brown. It's not black, but it's, well, when you hold it up to something that's truly black, it's certainly not black, but it's relatively close. And that's precisely where this material is typically used in, is in a smoke or draft control rated sort of application like you'd have on hotel suite entry doors, corridor doors, places like that. It's preferred because it is inexpensive. Especially when you incorporate into the idea the cost to install as well. It does take some time to install it, but after someone gets proficient at it, it goes relatively quick. So inexpensive material, meets code, and works very efficiently at the job that it's intended to do. Easy to install, meaning it'll be less expensive, more effective for everybody involved, that sort of thing. Okay. Okay, now on to, we've talked about where it's used, what its specifications are. Now on to how it's installed. First of all, there is a link below this video to the installation instructions, and we're going to go over them now. Now, I've installed this material in its intended purpose of smoke and draft control. I've installed it just because I wanted to augment existing weather stripping. Inexpensive, easy to install, effective. Those were all reasons why I have installed this in the past. Now, I've used this material to help seal an area between a shop and a showroom setting. In the summertime, you've got at least one of those doors open, and when the other is open, the air just races through. Well, what happens is it is going to carry with it the particulate from the shop side naturally to the showroom side. And this material is very effective at just helping retard the transmission of that particulate, dust, etc., but also sound. Now, it's not, acoustically rated, but it is beneficial, and I can tell that it was, and I know that it is. So I find this material something that you can apply in any application that may be helpful to what you're trying to accomplish. Okay, so now the installation instructions. The installation instructions are very straightforward and available below. They will be in the packaging when it arrives to you as well. And let's start at step one. Well, first of all, this is the orientation that you're going to see the material installed in. You can see how it changes depending on if you're at the hinge side or if you're at the lock or head side. So just install it in that sort of fashion. You will want to measure and pre-cut your pieces prior to installing it. You want to make sure that your pieces are cut to the proper length. That is because if you tried to run the material in a continuous length from the bottom up to the header and back down, that inside corner would be a point of failure. You can't really bend it like that. Also, when you've got it pre-cut to the length, you'll know immediately if what you have is an error or a potential for failure. Meaning, if you cut the piece to 36 inch and you've got a little, and you know your door, your frame is a 3-foot door, and you've got a 1/4 inch or so too long by the time you get to the end of it, that means you've unintentionally stretched it out, and that will give you that will be a failure. So you'll want to make sure that you correct that immediately. Okay. So moving forward, all self-adhesive weather strips must be applied on clean, dry frames between 50 and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And where the operating range of the material is going to be between 30 below and 140 above. So that's incredible temperature range. What they're saying here is that when you apply this material, the frame's got to be of room temperature. It can't be below 50 degrees or the adhesive isn't going to work. It also means that the frame must be clean, free of dust, free of debris. If it's been painted, the paint needs to have been cured for at least a week. Okay, anything like that will give a possibility for the material to fail in its installation. So keep all that in mind. Now, regarding the cleaning, once you think you've got it clean and it's perfect, do it one more time. My experience tells me that any particulate on the frame can give you an opportunity for failure. The point of the matter is you want this material to last for the lifetime of the door, and giving the adhesive the best possible chance at doing its job is what you need to provide for. Moving on to step 2, cut one piece of gasketing to the width of the frame at the top. Remove the release paper from the gasketing and mount as illustrated to the header, which was here. Header first. While pressing down each inch of the weather strip, be careful not to stretch it. This will ensure complete adhesion to the frame. So it has its natural elasticity. It's not really elastic, but it's got its natural sort of elasticity where it has its natural state. You don't want to stretch it. It will come back to its normal elasticity the next day and it'll have failed. You don't want to roll it down like this because you will unintentionally stretch it. You just want to apply as significant pressure as you can directly down on it to get it pushed down. Okay, that will assure you a real good sort of installation. After you've got that done on the header, of course, move to the jambs, your hinge side, your hinge jamb, your lock jamb. Step 4, operate door several times to make certain gasketing is adjusted properly so as not to inhibit the door from self-closing and latching. Do not install strips as one continuous piece. Materials must be cut at corners where the head and jambs meet. Do not overlap adhesive strips. So the point of ensuring that it works properly is that while this material will compress down to an almost insignificant thickness, it still occupies some space. This is a very low sort of force material that your door closer should not have any problem with getting the door actually closed. Now, all the admonishing I've done about the clean surface that you must have is listed right there on that in that column of the installation instructions. It's that important. You don't want to come in the next day to the job site and have it failed on you. Okay. Now, I'm actually, once you know that you don't have any sort of problem with the material, I'm a fan of not continuing to test it once you know it works. I would leave the door closed for 24 hours for sure. That's what I would do. Okay. The charcoal is by far the most common finish. It is the finish available from Reese on this material. Now, interestingly enough about Reese, I would very much recommend that if you're not familiar with them, to click on the link to their manufacturer page below this video and review their full catalog. They are a comprehensive manufacturer of primarily commercial type weather stripping. I am partial to Reese because their extrusions seem to be thicker than average. Their lead times are always faster than average. Their customer service is above average, and their technical support is superior, etc. And those are the reasons that I'm partial with them. It's a pleasure being a distributor of theirs, and you would be pleased with any material that you got from them. And quite frankly, what I find is someone who starts with Reese or tries Reese ends up going back to them with no sales work involved. It's just a testament to their product line. If you have any questions on the Reese 638CH self-adhesive silicone teardrop gasketing for smoke, draft control, etc., or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us.